My name is Leslie Probart, and I'm delighted to be hosting the call today. As we said, it's going to be our last call for the year, but it's going to be a great one. And, we will be wishing everybody a very, very happy holidays at the end of the call. But first of all, I'm absolutely delighted that we're going to have a lady share her story who lives in Detroit in Michigan. Mary, would you like to share with everybody just what's happened for you?
I would be glad to. My name is Mary Strayhorn, and as was said, I live in Detroit, Michigan, and I was introduced to Relive in 2003, but my story actually goes back 50 years earlier. When I was 11 years old in a little town in Arizona, I fell out of a truck which caught my left leg on the back wheel and dragged me down the street about, I'd say 50 yards or so. And by the time they got me to the hospital, there was nothing at all left of that left ankle. Fortunately, the blood vessels had not torn open, so I did not bleed out. They had simply moved, but there was no bone, no joint, no nothing. And the only medical option at that time would have been to amputate. But Dr. McNally, who was a genius, said no. She's 11 years old. There's a blood supply to the foot. He said to my mother, she is to have the best food in the universe and 20 minutes of direct sunlight every single day. They actually wheeled my hospital bed outside when I was in the hospital to get that sun every day. And my mother's garden was over the septic tank, and we had relatives who were farmers, so I had the best food in the universe in 1953. It took 5.5 months, but that joint grew back. So when I heard about Relive and heard that it was just food, but perfect food, and realizing that the food values that were there in 53 were no longer there in 2003, I decided I would try the product. I got immediate results from acid reflux symptoms and just general well-being and energy. Then after I had been on the product for a couple months, I did something. I honestly do not know what, but I did something that inflamed my entire spinal column. And, pain drove me to the hospital, emergency room, and they told me that I had bulging discs in all quadrants of my back, plus 2 vertebrae out of line, which I was probably born with. They wanted me to see a neurosurgeon within the next week. They gave me a prescription for a very strong painkiller. I did not fill that prescription. I did not make the appointment with the neurosurgeon. Instead, I took the supplemental product, Arthifect for joint health, and I went through a 2-month supply in 4 days. Did not miss any work. I forgot to mention my work. What I do is I clean. I always say I get paid to exercise. I make dirty things clean. I run up and down stairs with vacuum hoses, reach around toilets, stretch into things. And I did not miss any work with that injury to my spine. And I am on the north side of 70. I'm 72 years old, and I am still working because as I say, I get paid to exercise, and I don't like to exercise other than that. I'm the laziest person I know. When I started on Relive, I was a reasonably healthy person with a few structural issues from getting banged around a lot. And now I am on the north side of 70, and I am disgustingly healthy and still able to work and enjoying every minute of it. I tried Relive, decided to try Relive it back in 2003, and I think, judging from the results I had, I'll continue to try it for another 20 or 30 years.
Well, good on you, Mary. That is just such a lovely story. What a horrendous thing to happen to you when you were 11, but thank goodness it's all come right. And what a clever doctor to know it was down to nutrition and sunshine. Wow. Mm-hmm. That is so clever. And, of course, we have Dr. Carl to thank for the cleverness of Relive. Well, Dr. Calogris initially, but, Dr. Carl taking it on. And, wonderful
Best
story.
Food in the universe.
Thank you so much for sharing. And go and get fit. Go and keep fit. We really appreciate you sharing your story today. Thank you.
God bless. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And have a happy Christmas.
Yes, thank you. You too.
Well, now I'm going to go to Chicago, to Ishmael. Ishmael, we're delighted you were able to come on the call at such short notice. Thank you so much for sharing for us. Would you like to tell everybody just what's happened for you on the products? And then, of course, you've got a wonderful story of your nephew.
Yes. Yes, my name is Ishmael. I'm from Chicago. I have a background in computers. 5 years ago, I was suffering with numerous things. Among those was acid reflux was a big problem for me because the lining of my esophagus was so inflamed and so damaged that I could not swallow properly. I was down to soup or chicken pot pie on a good day because I was choking on French fries or just salad. Today, I do not have the problem at all, and I attribute that to when I started on Relive. I started noticing after 2 months that I began to eat regular foods. Also, I've had great results with blood pressure and cholesterol. My cholesterol was up at 269, even when I was taking medication for cholesterol, and also with my blood pressure, I was hovering between 150 to 170 over 93, and that was at the age of 59. Today, I'm 65. I'm no longer on medication because 3 months after taking Relive products, which are the classic Energize and the Fiber Store, twice a day, I noticed that I was not tired as much as I was not as fatigued, and I went to the doctor and I had my blood work done. My cholesterol went down from 269 to 166. My blood pressure went down to 112, 117 over 66. And that is also with no medication today. And I'm here to share with you the story of my nephew. In 2009, my nephew was diagnosed with HIV at the age of 25. And at the time, he was going to the hospital, getting his shots, which were $1,500 a shot, twice a month. And with all other pills, about 40 pills a day. And they were able to bring down to improve his T-cell count. His T-cells were down to 29. And after 1 year with the expensive treatment, his T-cells went up to 175. And that was when I heard about his condition. And after he started on the Relive products, the same thing as I'm taking, classic Energize and Fiber Store, his T-cells went from 175 to 385 after 3 months. And another 3 months passed, so after 6 months from starting on Relive, his T-cells went to 585. And before that, the doctor said he could not travel internationally or on a plane if his T-cell count was 300. So today he travels to and from New York, where he works as a New York stockbroker. Of all jobs, it's a very stressful city and very stressful job, but he's loving his life because he says, I'll never ever stop taking my Relive anywhere I go. He goes to Europe 2 or 3 times a year for a conference, and he never leaves without his Relive shakes, and he said to me, that is a blessing of good nutrition from Relive, and that is also our blessing because we have our nephew back when we could have lost him 5 years ago. And that is our wonderful story.
Well, Ishmael, and it is a wonderful story. I mean, we have to be so careful that we never say that we don't make any claims that anything cures anybody, but that the numbers don't lie, do they? You know, that is what has happened for him, and it's amazing and wonderful. And I do so appreciate you sharing that with us. I'm sure there will be people on this call who will come up against somebody one day that needs that story, and we're so grateful to you for sharing that with us. And your own story is amazing, to be able to eat anything after all those troubles of your acid reflux and then getting great results with your cholesterol and your blood pressure. So thank you so much for sharing for us, and we do wish you a very, very happy Christmas.
And you too. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. It is my honor to always be able to share the opportunity, and maybe hopefully one day I'm gonna be able to cross the pond and visit you all.
Yeah, that will be wonderful. Okay, thank you so much.
Have a wonderful Christmas. Bye-bye.
And you. Well, now I'm just going to check whether we have Rosie on the line. Rosie, have you joined us? Or Nadia? We seem to have a little problem with our other speakers, but I'm just going to share a little bit for you about what has happened in Relive over the 15 years that I've known Relive. When we first got involved, my husband and I were ready to retire. We weren't really looking for a business. We were actually just looking for better health at that point. We've been in this industry of network marketing for a long, long time. I mean, now it's 38 years that we've been involved in the industry. We'd made lots of money because it's a great way to make a living, but we were ready to retire because of our ill health, and then we got some amazing results. Myself, it was high blood pressure that I got my best result with. I actually started to take Relive because I hit the menopause. For Brian, it was really, really excruciating back pain that was caused by a spinal problem. And he had something called spondylosis, which is arthritis in the spine, and his vertebrae were actually crumbling away. And there was absolutely nothing that the medical profession could do for him. They just suggested painkillers, stronger painkillers, and eventually a wheelchair. Well, I can tell you today at 76, coming on 77, he is as fit as a flea, and he can garden and do all the things that he loves to do with no problems whatsoever. He has no pain. So we've both got fit. And I want to tell you a little bit about the day that we met Dr. Calogris, because for many of you who are just joining the business now or have been in just for a few years, you will have missed that opportunity. Because he was a very elderly man when we met him back in 2000. He came to London in October 2000 with a group of people who'd earned a trip. Really have some wonderful trips. And we actually were invited to join that group just for the day and just to meet everybody. And there we met Dr. Calogris. And if I tell you, he was a very tiny man. He made me feel tall, and I'm only 5'2". He was very tiny in stature, but he was the biggest personality you could imagine. He was just the most wonderful person. He had a heart that just expanded around the world. He just wanted to nourish our world, and that is where Relive's beginnings come from, his desire to nourish our world. And that's why we have a product called Now, because it's Nourish Our World. A lot of people probably wonder why it's called Now. Well, that's why. He created our very first product, which was Classic, and he used it to help himself with the pain that he had that was keeping him in a wheelchair. And when we met him in 2000, he was actually just walking with one cane and not using that all the time. And he eventually died, very old age, but very well. And we'll never forget meeting him. It was just an experience that we wouldn't ever wish to change. It was wonderful to see him and to see where his heart was, and it gave us the heart of Relive as well. So I'll just double check. Do we have either Rosie or Nadia on the line? Stella, could you just unmute your line by using *6 and share your story for us?
Okay, I'd love to. Hi, everyone. My name is Stella. I live in Nottingham, UK, and I'm a mother of 4. My background is in hairdressing. I started taking the product about 2.5 years ago now. At that time, I had been suffering from severe anemia after having my fourth child. I've been suffering from anemia. It was so bad that the doctors wanted to give me blood transfusion, which I declined. I also developed a swelling on my left eye, which was affecting my sight. And the doctors again wanted to give me an operation on that eye. And I asked them to give me time. So I was praying for help to come. And then somebody shared Relief with me, which I was really excited, and I began taking it. Within a month of taking the products, just taking the Now Energizing Fiber 2 times a day, I began to notice I had lots of energy. I was sleeping better. All aches and pain was gone. I continued taking this product, and by the 3rd month, I woke up one day and I saw the swelling on my eye was gone. And the doctors took me off all forms of medication. So 2.5 years on, I have never taken any painkillers or no iron tablet. And I feel 10 years younger. So this is something I share with people that I come across. And as we've heard, the company, treat us really well. I was able to be invited to go to some of the trips. I went to Costa Rica. I went to Miami. I've been to Paris twice with this company, and I earn regular income every month. So, this is something I'll be doing for a very long time. Thank you.
Well, thank you for doing that for us, Stella. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just checked. Do we have Rosie or Nadia on the line? No? Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll be able to get them back on another time. Maybe there was a problem with connection. That happens sometimes. But, in Relive, we don't panic. We just get on with it. If you're listening for the first time, this is what our business is all about. Sometimes people take a step back thinking, oh, my gosh, this is a business. How am I going to do this? Well, all you do is connect people up with other people who share their story. And you bring them on calls like this so they can hear what's happened for other people. And it's just amazing what can happen, both financially and in health, for people who take Relive regularly and who get involved in this business opportunity. If either Nadia or Rosie join us, just interrupt me and tell me you're here. But, this company are it ticks all the boxes because, as I said at the beginning, we've been involved in network marketing now for 38 years. But we've only been involved with 5 companies in all that time, and we've made a lot of money. But there was always little things that didn't quite gel with each company. There would be a great product, but then not a great business opportunity, or a great business opportunity, but the products let you down. Always little things. But we found in Relive, when we met Relive, that it ticked all the boxes. It actually is something where you can trust in the product. It absolutely trust in the product. If people take this product consistently and persistently, they will get results. They will get responses to the product. Will it happen in any particular time scale or in any particular way? Absolutely not. It's down to what your body does with this fuel that you give it, which is the perfect nutrition that Relive is. With the business opportunity, it's down to what effort you put in. Sometimes not even, sometimes you can put a lot of effort in and you think, I'm not getting any return. And then you don't put in so much effort and you get more return. That's how it works. So if you're listening, get back to the person, if you're listening for the first time, get back to the person who invited you on the call. They'll be able to help you either get started on the products or with the business or both. Some people take one before the other. Some people jump both in with both feet. It really is down to what you want to get from Relive. And I can't say enough how much Joni and I enjoy doing this call.